the decision has been made. What is going on with the college football playoff now?
Yeah, well, finally it's expanding, and it's going to expand in 2024. The last major roadblock, as we all know, is the Rose Bowl. They were very adamant that they wanted protection and assurances about keeping that very coveted time slot on New Year's Day so that the sun can set over the San Gabriel Mountains. But they were willing to play ball. They were willing to adjust and amend their contract so that this thing can expand in 2024. I mean, again, it goes without saying the repercussions of not playing ball with the CFP on this and not allowing them. I mean,
you want to be on the bus or not?
Right. If you don't help them expand in 2024, you're costing them $500 million and being really difficult. And they're not going to want to work with you for the new contract in 2026. So
yeah, it's
all of that was
it's sort of like the
resolved.
SEC and CBS. Like CBS was never going to get that contract back from the SEC because they didn't play ball with the SEC when the SEC expanded. As the Rose Bowl is the same thing. It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Homer starts the internet company and Bill Gates comes in and says, okay. And he says, well, I'd like to buy you out. And Homer's like, okay. And he goes, all right, buy him out, boys. And they just come in with baseball bats and break everything. He's like, you think I got rich writing checks? Like that. That's the thing. If you're the CFP, you don't actually need the Rose Bowl. And I think it's finally dawned on the people who run the Rose Bowl that they are not necessary and can be replaced pretty easily.
And Nicole and I were actually texting about this last night. And, Nicole, you can jump in here. But I feel like as much as the Rose Bowl is the best game I've ever covered, just in terms of aesthetics and tradition and all that stuff, the fan temperament as fans get older and younger fans get older, sorry, not higher. The luster of the game.
Oh, the young fans are getting high too.
Yeah, they are.
Lots of laws changing everywhere.
That's quite a Freudian slip there, Ari.
Well, including in California, which is, quite the actual accident. But I just think that the luster of the game is.
Cal Stadium is nicknamed the Trap House now by certain people who play and coach there.
We were talking about how just like Ohio State fans and Ohio State players just wouldn't care about playing in that game. And it's like, that's the new reality of the sport. So if they don't want to play ball and they don't want to be a part of it, you can get phased out real quickly and you become a distant memory. It's like everybody knew that
that's why I was surprised this took this long. I mean, like you really got to understand your place in college football right now and the temperament around you. I mean, the Big Ten just took USC and UCLA. So like the Rose Bowl itself was devalued and all bowls have been devalued in the CFP era. So like, to me, this was a no-brainer that we were going to end up here. I'm glad we're finally there because we can finally plan on having an expanded playoff for 2024.
And I also, can somebody
explain to me the daylight savings thing that we were just joking about? Like, if they have a different time slot 5 days later, does the sun not set over the San Gabriel Mountains?
No, Ari, daylight savings time.
No, I know.
Change in December or January. So
no, I know, but I'm saying,
it doesn't
like, what's
change
the difference?
First week of November.
I didn't understand daylight savings until a week ago. My wife had to explain to me that this is a votable thing and it wasn't science.
Ari thought it was like leap year, where the sun, it takes the Earth actually 365 and a quarter days to rotate around the sun. So we add the day every most 4 years.
Ironic part about it is when you really think about it, I grew up in Arizona, a state that didn't do it, but both states on either side of them also does it. So like, it doesn't make sense scientifically just based on the direction or the geography of it. But I always just thought this is what we do to keep the clocks right.
You didn't think it happened every year?
I knew it happened every year, but I thought it was something that we did to keep the clocks right as we rotated around the sun.
The clocks that are run by batteries.
The actual official time.
Yes, the Romans. The Romans did this.
Oh my God! So I thought that it was a scientific thing. I didn't know it was like, what time do you want it to get dark? Everyone vote on it. Like, I thought it was like there was a reason we did this, other than how early do you want to wake up?
Farmers wanted more daylight hours to collect their stuff and harvest their stuff, and that's it. That's why it happened.
So that's why I'm saying
it was not about clocks.
Well, I brought up that because I don't understand. Like, is there something about the rotation of the Earth as it rotates around the sun that makes it harder for the sun to set beautifully in Southern California 9, 8, 7 days later than the first?
No. It might obviously change by a minute or two, but generally it will be about the same time.
I have a quick question on that. Andy, you might know the answer. When the Rose Bowl was not on the first, like the famous USC Texas game was on January 4th.
I was there. And also 5 p.m. local kickoff.
Was the parade on the first? Because the parade is what we really are talking about, right?
I believe the parade was still on the first. Because I was at the Texas USC Rose Bowl. I do not recall the parade being that morning. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody in the chat correct me.
I thought the parade was always the morning of the game.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. What if it's not on the first? So anyway, there's lots of issues here, and I do think I agree with you, Ari. Not just Ohio State, but I think fans were frustrated that the Rose Bowl was holding up expansion, and so I think for the betterment of everyone involved, we're moving forward. They are amending their contract to allow for this to happen, so we know that we'll have a 12-team playoff in 2024. So we only have one more full season of going through this
season, yes.
Playoff.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Well, let's save this for the off season, Ari.
I'm just tired of people debate. I'm just tired of people tweeting at me. You know, it'd be better if USC and TCU didn't even play in their championship games. Like, yes, I know that. They should change the system to make it where it's more palatable to play in those. Oh, wait, they did. They already did. They've changed it. It's going to start in 2024. I don't have to eat a hat. We figured out, because I did say on this show multiple times, if it didn't start in 2024, if it started in 2026 when the new contract starts, I would eat a hat.
I was going to have you eat one of those big hats. Have you seen those on the internet?
I have. The Brian Robinson one.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people sent me the Homer Simpson tortilla sombrero with the salsa moat around the brim. I think I would do that. I would definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay. So I just think that Andy and I agree, Nicole. Don't you think the Rose Bowl should just be the national title game every year?
Yes, do it.
Yeah, I do, but I also we just went through all of this. I don't think people are like, oh, let's bend over backwards for the Rose Bowl right now.
No, I know. It's just if we were ever in the business of doing the cool thing rather than the thing that drives the most money or is brought down by contract,
they don't have enough suites. They don't want to host it. Like, they want to be bribed to host the national title game. Like, they want New Orleans and Atlanta and Indianapolis and I guess San Antonio is probably not for football, but they want these cities fighting and offering better bribes to do the game. And I say bribe, it's just, they're just paying, but they want a better deal to do the game, and they want to be able to sell all these corporate suites.
And so then they can say
logistically they've done it already, so they can do it again, unless it's been changed so much that you have to have more money coming in from the suite.
No.
Well, no, I think it's more they just want it to be like the Super Bowl, where there's bids and it's a whole process and it moves around the country.
And they also used to have the Super Bowl in the Rose Bowl and in Rice's stadium, but that's not going to happen anymore. So I'm not surprised that the Rose Bowl was as intransigent as it was, because let's be perfectly honest, the sport bent over backwards for this stupid game for decades. So they were kind of used to it. And I imagine it was a little bit of a shock to their system this time when the deadline gets set and they're like, we don't really care if you're part of this or not. You can be in it or not.